Hello everyone, welcome to Sideshow Live. We have such a great show for you today. Just wow. That's gonna be the theme kind of the show. It's gonna be wow. Sideshow Live. Anyway, first we're going to be taking an up close and personal look at the Jane Foster Thor premium format figure. Spoiler alert, she is amazing. The detail on this thing, mwah, oh my God, love it. Anyway, after that we have a very special guest in the studio. Supergirl writer Sterling Gates will be live to answer some questions from the Facebook event as well as some questions that we had in-house. Do you guys go and RSVP to our Facebook events? Because you really should. We have some chats in there. We sometimes call out for questions. So if you have a question for us, you're going to want to RSVP to that Facebook group because we are in there paying attention. So we have them up for the next 2 weeks, next 2 live streams. So be sure to get in there and RSVP. Wow. After that, we have an unboxing of the Dark Phoenix premium format figure. And of course, because we're unboxing something, what does it mean? We are going to be giving it away. Sideshow.com/live contest. You can enter for a chance to win the exact Dark Phoenix premium format figure that I unbox live on the show later today. So we also, because we are always doing contests, I have a winner to announce. That is the Joker Batman Imposter version 6-scale figure from our live stream 2 weeks ago. Remember, we took a week off. So that's what we have coming up on the show today. Now for the news. First off, we want to start a new thing where we kind of do a special shout out, call out to our featured collector of the week. This week, our featured collector is Mike Jarrett from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Congratulations on your awesome collection. If you would like the chance to become a featured collector and be featured on the live stream here, you can go to sideshow.com/blog where you can check out Mike's collection and also fill out the form and become a featured collector yourself. Other news. Guardians of the Galaxy has another trailer. You guys, we are like 6 weeks-ish out from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and we could not be more excited in this office. The Rocket Raccoon Hot Toys went up for pre-order from that, and we are hoping to see many, many more. Speaking of Hot Toys, they announced yesterday in the early morning hours that Spider-Man Homecoming will be getting a line of figures from them. Moving on, this Friday, Logan comes out. It's like the final time we're going to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I just want to cry because I'm really, really, really going to miss him. I've been doing like a rewatch of all the X-Men movies all week, and who else is even going to play him? That's crazy. And of course, Alien Covenant's trailer drops today. So this is an amazing year for movies. It's an amazing time to be a fan of everything like we all are here. So tell Jack in the Facebook chat channels all about things that you love, things that you're excited to see, things that are on the live stream today. Jack enjoys pet rodents and the future. Don't we all, Jack? Don't we all? Everybody say hi to Jack. He's in Facebook. And we are going to take a quick video break. And when we come back, we will have Thor, Jane Foster, premium format figure. You're watching Sideshow Live. We will be right back. Welcome back to Sideshow Live. We have the Jane Foster as Thor premium format figure in the house. We weren't sure that we were worthy. We weren't sure that you were worthy, but we decided that everyone was worthy of this just beautiful, stunning, amazing figure. So doesn't she look amazing? Guys, this is Jane Foster. She's such an awesome Thor. If you guys are keeping up in the comics right now, you can just read them. They're so well done. They're so good. I could talk for an entire live stream just about the new run of Thor since she has picked up the hammer. But by now, you know what to expect from a Sideshow premium format figure. We encapsulate the character in a way that we find what we think the keys to that particular character are, and we try to emulate them into a figure. So we have so many amazing details on this premium format figure, including she is mixed media with a posable cape that is fabric. She has a fabric costume as well as sculpted pieces on there. Her helmet is sculpted. And right now she is holding the exclusive, which is the Battle Axe Yarnbjorn. I hope I said that correctly. Now I'm just gonna give her a little bit of a turn for you guys. You can see that that Mjolnir is fully engraved with Thor's whosoever hold this hammer, if she be worthy, will possess the power of Thor. And then, of course, you can see this cap. I think that this is one of the first moments where you really accept Jane as Thor because she is the worthy one. We revealed a limited edition premium art print that will pair very nicely with your Thor premium format figure. And wow. Wow, she's just so beautiful. Anyway, I'm just keep being in awe of how just stunningly detailed this figure is. I'm really happy I was able to turn her all the way around for you because you can see things like, you know, her boots that have all the Viking-esque Norse mythology types of engraving on them, her helmet, her breastplate, everything is just so detailed. You can tell that when we put this together, we did it with a lot of love and a lot of fandom for Jane Foster as Thor. You can also pre-order her right now. She is available at sideshow.com/ThorJane. And oh my gosh, I personally can't wait to own her in my collection. You guys should all own her in yours. She is a must-have for any Marvel fan, especially those who are current in the comics right now. Wow. Wow. I don't even know. I just keep getting like distracted by how pretty this piece is. So we're going to take you to a break and we will be back after this video. Thank you guys so much for watching Sideshow Live. Thank you for being worthy of Jane. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sideshow Live. We have a very special guest live in studio with us. Welcome to Sterling Gates. Everyone out there say hi to Sterling. Just a little bit of background on him. He has worked on so many awesome comic titles, including Justice League, Flash, Superman, World's Finest, Green Lantern, and of course, Supergirl. He also recently had an episode on the Supergirl television show. So, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
What's up, live stream? Are you live? Are you streaming? Are you live streaming?
Yep, all of the above. So we have a couple of questions, some from us and some from the fans.
Cool.
We pulled. So what superhero did you identify most with as a kid?
I aspired to be the Flash when I was a kid.
Really?
Because I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Tulsa. And the bullies at my school were on the track team, and they were fast as hell. And I wanted to be the Flash because I wanted to be able to outrun them. But instead, I was a very chubby, very put upon little kid who spent a lot more time reading books than running. So there's a really there's a downer answer. Here you go, live stream. Good morning.
Oh, well, how did you transition from wanting to be the Flash into writing the Flash? Like, how did your career go moving that way?
When I was in college, I was in art school, and I made the decision that I wanted to write television, and the only place to really logistically do that was Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And so me and some of my friends packed up a U-Haul, and we moved 1,400 miles from Norman, Oklahoma, to Los Angeles. And then this story gets really long.
Okay, so then how did you make your big break,
I'm gonna
in
sneeze.
quotes?
I'm going to sneeze
Okay,
real fast.
he's going to sneeze. There's nature outside, and allergy season is upon us.
Yay,
so take
springtime.
Take your Claritin,
it's
everyone.
It's the best. I, through a very long and terrifically bad story involving a lot of alcohol and a comic convention, I met Jeff Johns. Everyone in comics is probably familiar with Jeff Johns. He is currently the president and chief creative officer of DC Entertainment. When I met him, he was a comic writer that had started a new show called Blade the Series. And they needed a production assistant for the writer's room. And so Jeff helped me get that interview. And then I worked in that room as a PA for almost 6 months. And then Blade was unceremoniously canceled. It was a great show. It's worth looking up if you haven't checked it out. Blade got canceled, and Jeff called me on a Sunday and said, "Hey, I'm doing a movie. Would you be interested in being my personal assistant on this movie?" And so he hired me to be his personal assistant. The movie never got made, but I stayed on as his assistant and started helping him do comic stuff and TV writing. And then one day at lunch, he asked, I was taking all these UCLA TV writing classes, and he's like, "God, it's a shame you don't want to write comics." And I said, "I'd love to write comics." And he goes, You would? And I said, "Yeah, like, let me show you all this stuff I was doing in college." And so I showed him a bunch of comics that I had done in college, and he liked those and said, "Okay, let me train you to write superhero comics like I write superhero comics." And then we spent probably about a year going back and forth of him showing me how to pitch things, showing me how to write a comic script, showing me how to make sure the emotional beats match the physical superheroic beats, and really just training me like the Jeff Johns way,
which is pretty fantastic because he writes some of my favorite titles, especially like back in the day with Green Lantern. He's the one who got me into Green Lantern.
It's kind of like Bruce Lee training you.
Yeah, right?
Like, every day you go to work and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen today, but it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And so after a while of that, he introduced me to an editor, and I pitched a bunch of Green Lantern stories and sold one of them. And then after that, my career just sort of built on itself. I started doing more work with the Green Lantern office, and then there was an opening writing Supergirl. And so I pitched essentially a spec issue of Supergirl, and everyone liked it a lot. And then that spec issue sort of morphed, and that became my first issue of Supergirl back in the day.
Wow.
2008.
Wow.
Almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
God, I'm old.
You're not old. That was actually like my first issue of Supergirl.
Was it?
Yours. Yeah, like I didn't know you back then, obviously, but you're writing Supergirl. I never really cared for her as a character. She was always a little tweeny for my taste.
Okay.
But you really hit her, to use a term that you just use, heroic beats, matching emotional ones. And
Yeah.
I guess that was like a Jeff Johns technique that you
Yeah.
mastered with your sensei. So what is the difference now that you've written Supergirl for almost 10 years on and off? what's the difference between writing her as a comic book character in that medium versus writing her in the television medium for her TV show?
They're different characters at very different points in their lives.
Okay.
It'd be like asking, what's the difference between you at 16 and you at 25?
Oh. Wow.
Because Supergirl in the books is a superhero teenager who's trying to live up to the Superman mythos.
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl, the TV show, is about a woman in her mid-20s doing her best to be the hero that she's known she could be her whole life, but the world has told her otherwise. Wow. And so it like, just personality-wise, they're different, and there's a maturity level to the TV show Supergirl that there isn't necessarily as ingrained in the comic book version. They go through very different things because, you know, when you're a teenager, you have a different set of responsibilities and you have a different set of needs and wants, and you have a different idea of what the world is. Teenagers, if you don't know, think they know everything, and people in their mid-20s have figured out they don't know everything and they're trying to catch up to the world. And so you get a very different, just different personalities to deal with and play with, I guess, is a way to say that.
So what other character would you like to play with their personality?
That's a weird way to say that.
I know, right?
That's a terrible way to say it.
I'm sorry.
What other character I like in
like,
general?
would you want to write or like see them write them at maybe different stages in their?
I mean, it's hard because I always want to write Supergirl stories. Like I was talking to somebody and we were talking about the comics, and I said, look, I could write Supergirl for a decade easily. Like, I could sit down and I have enough stories for her as a 16-something-year-old in the comics. I could write that comic for at least 10 years. You know, I've got a Superman story I've always wanted to do. Me and Jamal Eigel, who was my artist on Supergirl, we've always talked about doing a Superman team-up book where every issue Superman teams up with a different character in the DC universe.
I'd read that.
There's some Marvel characters I'd really like to get into. I've got a pretty fun Cloak and Dagger story I've always wanted to do. You know, I love Spider-Man a lot. Gosh, I don't know.
So just a laundry list.
Yeah, I mean, I spent let's back up a little bit. Like my childhood, my parents owned a comic shop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I spent from about ages 8 to 18 just like absorbing comics and reading comics and falling in love with these characters and getting excited about these characters. And so so I sort of have a head full of like, wouldn't it be cool if this, and this happened and I could write this story? Because I spent a lot of my childhood making, I guess, laundry lists of characters I'd love to do. You know, Kid Flash, I've always wanted to do a Kid Flash series. And I think I've got a really good story for the current DCU Kid Flashes, because there are multiples right now. Flash of 3 worlds. And what else? Flash, I'd love to do a run on the Flash. God, it really does seem like a laundry list when I start saying
it's
it.
just...
Yeah, lots of characters. There are a lot of characters I'd love to work on, and
awesome.
Some creator-owned stuff, some original stuff at some point. I kind of think that my life has finally got to the point where I want to develop that stuff. So, I mean, it varies. Like,
well, you actually had an episode of TV air last week.
I did.
And how did that feel?
Pretty surreal. I wrote the Mr. and Mrs. Mxyzptlk episode of Supergirl. A lot of my stuff was Supergirl versus Mixie. You co-write episodes of that show, and so you split out scenes. And I've always wanted, in the climax of the episode, spoiler alert-ish, for a week.
You've had a week to watch it.
Mixie brings the Jor-El statue in the Fortress of Solitude to life, and Supergirl fights this giant statue. And I've wanted to do something with those statues for at least 10 years. Because I love the idea of Superman having these weird statues of his parents in this fortress, but I always wanted them to do something. And so I pitched that in the room, and everyone really liked it. So that became the climax, and it looks awesome. Like the VFX encore effects, Dolby VFX, like they bring that statue to life was pretty dang amazing.
That's awesome. So now I have some questions from fans who have written in on our social media who want to know some things.
Let's do it. Let's
Yes.
do it, fans.
Awesome.
We're live streaming right now.
All right. What is your favorite Supergirl moment that you've written?
In the comics?
Just
in general?
It just said they didn't specify.
I did a series called Adventures of Supergirl, and in it, we created a new slogan for her. In the same way that Superman has truth, justice, and the American way, Supergirl says hope, help, and compassion for all. And that is probably my favorite Supergirl moment, because it's something that it's an addition to the character that I really was excited to do, and it is what Supergirl believes, and it took me a long time to distill all of her beliefs down into one catchphrase, and I finally got it in a book, and I think other people are going to use it, is the rumor, knock on wood.
That's awesome.
But it's probably my favorite Supergirl thing that we added to the mythos. I also we did Supergirl's Closet of Solitude, where she, in her house, like she presses her hand against the wall and it like reads it, and then this closet opens up and it's all of her Supergirl gear in this like panic room. I really like that. Like real life moments, favorite Supergirl things. Helen Slater played Supergirl in Supergirl the movie, and we asked her to do an introduction to one of my trade paperbacks. And I was at San Diego Comic-Con in 2009. Oh yeah, 2009, and I got a text from my editor. I was in a panel, and I got a text from my editor like, Slater agreed, LOL. And so Helen Slater, Supergirl herself, wrote an introduction to one of my books, and that was a pretty cool moment. Yeah, so I don't know. There are a lot. Like, I have been very privileged and very honored to work with this character over the years, and so it's hard for me to just distill everything down to one moment, because any chance I have to work with that character, for me, is a favorite thing. And like, as with all creative endeavors, there's conflict behind the scenes, but like the work that we've put out with a number of artists over the years, with Supergirl, like I'm really proud of, and think that it is gratifying to see her popularity grow as a result of the TV show, because she's a character I've championed and worked with and for almost 10 years now. So that got really heavy.
Yeah.
Hey, live stream.
Wow.
Here's a really heavy moment.
You kind of answered this question already, but Amy wanted to know, Amy Laura in our Facebook group wanted to know what is one of the key aspects to really writing Supergirl well, in your experience?
Understanding that she's physically invulnerable, but emotionally very vulnerable. And like the way you attack Supergirl is through emotional means, because physically she can kick your ass. So the way you come at her is through emotional means.
Wow. That also is really deep.
Yeah,
Thank you.
The more you know.
So,
Cling.
So, do you relate to Supergirl?
As a confused person trying to find their way in a world, yes. As someone who hopes for mankind and would love to do anything they can to try to boost mankind, because these are the only people we have, this is the only world we have, yes. As someone who has lost a parent and had to deal with that grief and overcome that grief, yes. As someone who can shoot heat vision out of their eyes, no.
Yes, also yes.
Yes.
Also yes.
As someone who can fly, no. But
I mean, you can, just with the aid of like an airplane. Or
yeah,
parachute.
or you go to like those weird skydiving.
Yeah,
thing,
like in Universal.
I fly, yeah.
Like, yep. So yeah. And the last question that we have is, what advice do you have for someone who wants to write an iconic character like a Supergirl?
do your homework. I mean, like, do the research, figure out what, I'm going to sneeze here, so it'll buy me some time to think of a better answer. I don't even have to sneeze, I'm just trying to buy time. Okay, it's passed. Nope, coming back.
Nope. Oh.
It's coming at you live.
All right, there you go. We can't write this stuff, guys.
You could.
Yeah. I think people sneeze on TV.
Excuse me, sorry, live stream. My bad.
God bless you.
I'm sure that'll be screen capped. Understand what makes characters iconic and understand moments that have come before you. That's what I mean by do your homework. Like read what's come before you, because on a lot of these characters, they're legacy characters. Sorry, my allergies are out of control. It's the nature.
So much nature.
It's all the nature. Springtime.
Do you think Supergirl has allergies?
Kryptonian allergies, yes. Earth allergies, no.
Right.
Right. Iconic characters, the thing about it is, more often than not, you're working with characters that have existed for longer than you've been alive. And so it's up to you to drop back and see what made those characters successful in the first place and what made those characters resonate with readers, and find those moments that people point to as big moments for that character, understand why those work, and then forge your own path with that knowledge in you. We have been very blessed as creators to work with characters that have been worked on by hundreds, if not thousands, of other people in those characters' existences. So it's up to you as a creator to know what has come before, but not to let that be like you don't just want to repeat that stuff because they've already done those stories. You know, like Green Lantern has already fought the Sinestro Corps. Find a new spin, find something new and exciting and different to do with it. And that's how to be successful with this stuff, with these characters.
Wow. Well, bless you. Well, that's all we have for you today, Sterling. So we're going to send you back out into nature.
Oh, God, there's so much nature. Hay fever.
Oh, no. But thank you so much. That was really awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Rock. And you guys, coming up next, we have our Dark Phoenix premium format figure. Rock.
She does this.
Yep, she does. That's exactly what she looks like. I don't even need to unbox her anymore. So thank you guys for watching. Bless you. And we will be back after the break. Thank you.
Live.
That moment, the Marvel character has to step up and become something more. That's what we are able to capture in our statues and figures.
It's so cool to see something from a drawing on a page to seeing that final product in people's hands and the reaction of the fans. That's awesome.
Guys, welcome back to Sideshow Live. Wasn't that an amazing interview that Sterling just gave us? It's kind of spectacular. Like, I know that he did a pose like the Dark Phoenix, but unfortunately Sterling is not the Dark Phoenix as much as he might want to be. So we are going to unbox Dark Phoenix for you right now. So let's just get right to it, shall we? I am going to need the help of floating hands to get this beautiful piece out of the box. So if floating hands could pull the box while I pull the foam. There we go. Thank you very much, floating hands. Now, as always, the Sideshow Collectibles S is on top of the foam, so we're just gonna pop it right open. Ah, look at all this pretty. You guys, all right. How many of you pre-ordered this amazing premium format figure? Hopefully a lot of you, because she is gorgeous. I'm gonna move my notes so I can, ooh, you might want a little bit of canned air for her, since there's a lot of foam that can get caught in her fire. So let's, wow, just get her into the base. Amazing. Ah. Now, I'm gonna put the Phoenix possessed head on her. There is also a Jean Grey swap out portrait, but personally I think if you're unboxing Dark Phoenix, she should frickin' look like Dark Phoenix, right? Right? And let's get her belt attached. I think I'm gonna need to get this foam out of the way. Thank you, floating hands. So, let's get her belt on. Where she goes right here. Ooh, there's even a little phoenix on the belt. Oops, wrong way. Goes this way. Goes this way. There you go. Whoa! Oh my god, you guys. Wow. That was fast, but I have a lot to say about her. So hang tight. First off, isn't she gorgeous? The Dark Phoenix storyline to this day is still one of the staples of the X-Men universe. It is a fan favorite storyline, and some of us here love, love, love Jean Grey as Dark Phoenix, and this was a total passion project for our crew. So we tried to recreate how we see her in her iconic pose with the Phoenix Force, just like bursting out of her, all of the energy. She's consumed by all of the cosmic entities, like the cosmic entity, the Phoenix Force that's in her. And that power, the cold, raw fury, the menace, everything. But it's also the beauty of it that's coming forth and bursting with Jean Grey's power. The only reason the Phoenix Force can even enter her in the first place is because it is drawn to her psychic abilities. And as you know, Jean Grey is one of the most powerful psychic mutants that exists in the X universe. So, I don't know what you guys think. Hopefully you're telling Jack, oh my god, how gorgeous, she's the most beautiful piece I've ever seen, because that's how we feel about it. We think our team just kind of crushed it with how she looks. She's stunning. As always, you know the drill. You can enter to win this exact Dark Phoenix premium format figure that I have unboxed for you right here with the help of floating hands. So it is super easy. Just go to sideshow.com/live contest. Even if you are not watching this live, you can enter for the next week. So sideshow.com/live contest. You can enter up until our next live stream. So don't worry if you're not watching this live. So the script people made a little error on here, and they gave me the winner of the Joker Batman Imposter 6-scale figure from last week. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell you who it is, because that's what I feel like doing right now, and that'll teach them for writing the scripts incorrectly. So the winner, if you are watching, is Kane Martin from the United States. Congratulations, Kane. And to everyone who entered, thank you for entering. This is what you can win this week. Yeah? Yeah? So we have another video to show you, and then we're gonna wrap some things up. And you're watching Sideshow Live. We will be right back.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today on the Sideshow live stream. That's all we've got for you today, so let's do a quick recap. We showed you a first up-close look at the new Thor Jane Foster premium format figure, which is awesome. The super awesome Sterling Gates, he is super awesome, stopped by to talk to us. What a cool guy! It actually says that. We unboxed our Dark Phoenix figure, and we started a new giveaway contest for you to win your own Dark Phoenix premium format figure. Remember, to enter that, you're gonna go to sideshow.com/live contest. Again, congratulations to our Joker Batman Imposter version winner, Kane. Awesome. And be sure to RSVP for our upcoming live streams on the Facebook.com. Stick around, we have one more video to show you. I'm Susan sometimes. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Painting is something that brings me to life, brings me so much joy. With every brushstroke, I'm learning something new. I mean, the paint sometimes does its own thing. You know, you start laying colors next to each other, and they work together and against each other to create this magic. And that's when I'm like, this is something that I can spend the rest of my life doing and would love to spend the rest of my life doing. To supplement my income, I was doing a lot of paint work for Sideshow and various other companies, a lot of private collectors. But I also got married very young, had a mortgage, and too many financial responsibilities, so I had to have other jobs. So I was always working full-time plus. And I kept trying to keep that balance going where I never wanted to stop creating, but it became harder and harder to balance family, friends, drawing, painting, and then my job. Some days I was working 18, 20 hours a day. Life was going 100 miles an hour. And then in April 2013, it all came to a screeching halt. I noticed that my left arm was numb and the coordination was kind of off. If you drew a line straight down my body, everything left of center was numb. So we went to the emergency room and they did some tests. Doctor came in and says, we found a lesion on your brain. Hard to put into words what that feels like. How can this happen? How can this happen to me? They told me the type of tumor it was, which is glioblastoma. That night, around 11 o'clock, the brain surgeon came in and says, I want to operate, so we'd like to get you in tomorrow. During the surgery, they opened up the right side of my head and took a scoop out of my brain. About 6 or 7 months after the surgery, I started having seizures. First couple were just in my arm. Third time started the same way, and it grew more and more and more intense. And then I don't remember anything. I was on the back of an ambulance. I heard my wife and the paramedic talking about cancer. And when I woke up, I was like, hey, has this just been a bad dream? And then I even asked my wife, I said, do I have cancer? For like a split second, I had forgot the reality of what was going on. Average life expectancy was 6 to 8 months. Part of me is like, do I just roll over and accept this? Or do I take the bull by the horns and just push through this and try to survive? And that's the route I took. Immediately after that, it gave me a different outlook on life to just appreciate every single moment. This is not going to be easy, but I'm not going to let it hold me back. I'm going to live life to its fullest. I've already surpassed my original diagnosis by 3 years, and I plan on having a full life at this point. My wife is a big part of why I'm still here. Our love is the thing that keeps me going the most. Just waking up in the morning next to her is an inspiring thing. I think artwork has been definitely a part of my healing process. At this point in my life, it's the only time I can really, truly focus. To be able to just start with a blank piece of paper and turn it into something that has life, has dimension, and also tells a story. It keeps my mind in one place. Not only did cancer offer me the time to be able to slow down, it just taught me that every moment is precious. My name is Dan Colonna, and I'm beating the odds, one day at a time.